I'm Catherine. Back then, I was working as an office employee. One day, pushed by a friend saying, I'm sure you two will get along. I met a guy named Alex. Alex was handsome, in a laid-back way, and very kind. I wondered why someone like him didn't have a girlfriend and asked him about it. At the time, Alex was working at a hotel restaurant. He worked from early morning till late at night, and on his days off, he was so exhausted he'd just sleep all day, hardly having a chance to meet anyone. After being introduced, we went on a few dates, and I found myself completely falling for Alex. It seemed Alex felt the same way, and after he confessed, we started dating. Things went smoothly, and about 3 years into a relationship,
I've always dreamed of owning my own place. I'd love to do it with you, Catherine. I want us to be together forever. Would you marry me?
he proposed, and I said yes without hesitation. With our marriage, we decided to open our own shop in his hometown, and I quit my job. Although I'm not usually shy, opening a shop in a new place was nerve-wracking. Thankfully, the locals were very kind, and about half a month into the preparations, I started getting approached more and more with words of encouragement. With the support of the people around us, we managed to open our shop. Even after opening, things went well, and thanks to social media, we even had customers from far away. Everything was going great at that time. 3 years in, with regulars and the business on track, an incident happened. It all started when my mother missed a step at home and broke her leg. My father had passed away when I was in high school, and until I got married, it had just been my mom and me. After I got married, she lived alone. We weren't too far from each other, so I frequently visited on my days off. But a broken leg was a different story. When I discussed it with Alex, he said,
Your mom broke her leg. I can't manage the shop alone. Should we take a little break?
But we have quite a few reservations, and it doesn't feel right to cancel on people who are looking forward to it.
Maybe we should consider hiring part-time helpers, like we talked about before?
Do you think we can find someone on such short notice?
Actually, I have someone in mind. Do you remember Becky? She came to our wedding. We've been friends since middle school. She recently got divorced and moved back to her parents' home. She seems to have a lot of free time. I'm thinking of asking her. What do you think?
I had met Becky a few times before and she seemed like a good friend, so I had no suspicions. In fact, nothing was going on at that time. Thinking it would be easier for Alex to work with someone he knew, I agreed. For the next 2 months, while also helping at the shop, I was caring for my mother.
Catherine, how's your mom doing?
Every time I showed up at the shop, Becky would ask about her.
Would it be okay if I move this over here?
She always made sure to check with me to keep things running smoothly at the shop. I thought our relationship was good. Eventually, my mom was able to live on her own again.
Thank you for everything. I'm fine now. Please thank Alex for me too. I'll come by to eat once I'm walking better. Good luck with the shop.
With my mom's well wishes, I left my parents' house. I had texted Alex, but when he didn't reply even after closing time, I decided to head to the shop. The lights were on when I arrived, and inside, Alex and Becky looked awkwardly at me.
Catherine, how long have you been standing there?
I just got here. Sensing something was off, I responded as usual.
Is your mom doing okay?
Yo. She's walking now and said, I'm fine now. I did text you, but didn't get a reply.
Oh, sorry. There's something I've been wanting to talk to you about. Can you sit down?
When I took my seat, Alex was sitting across from me, with Becky next to him in an odd seating arrangement. I had a bad feeling right then and there. Even though the three of us were seated, Alex, who said he had something to talk about, didn't start talking. Losing patience, Becky was the one who broke the silence.
Catherine, I'm going to be straight with you. Please break up with Alex.
What?
That's right. We were waiting until your mom's issue was settled. Becky is the only one who truly gets me. I love her. I've always disliked it, you know. How you? with no professional experience, would butt in about the cooking.
I was too shocked to speak.
We just got our timing wrong, that's all.
So, don't go asking for alimony or anything, okay?
After all, you were the one who stole him first. I've loved him since middle school, and we went to high school and college together. After we started working and couldn't meet as often, I thought I'd give up on Alex and got married, but I realized I could only think of him, so I got divorced and came back. And when Alex contacted me, I believed it was fate. It's your fault, Catherine, to get married and then go back to your parents' house.
But Alex said it was okay.
Of course, he'd say that. He didn't want to be the bad guy.
That's why we waited until your mom was better. We're the ones who should be asking for alimony.
Realizing their concern for my mother was not out of care, but to time their breakup, I was plunged into despair. Whether they noticed my despair or not, they added to it.
We'll be staying at the shop for a while, so please pack your stuff and leave soon. That's all we wanted to talk about. Oh, and leave the keys to the shop. It's mine and Becky's place now. And don't forget the divorce papers.
With that, Alex and Becky left somewhere. I was left stunned in the dark shop. All my efforts for the shop had been for naught. I was left with nothing but some savings that were given as a division of property. After a while, I managed to move my heavy body and went home to pack my belongings. Since we had been using Alex's furniture and appliances from his bachelor days, and I hadn't changed my clothes much over the past few years, all my belongings fit into one suitcase. Unable to tell my mother, I was cheated on and divorced while I took care of you. I was at a loss, with nowhere else to go. I went to a diner a bit away and ordered just a drink bar. Sitting there with my suitcase, I must have looked odd with no intention of going anywhere. That's when someone unexpected approached me. I couldn't have imagined this meeting would be a turning point. It was Charlie, a client from work. Charlie was a college classmate and we were close since we were in the same seminar. His family ran a farm, and he had helped me with various issues about opening the shop, even supplying us with vegetables. Charlie's farm was popular, having supply lines to supermarkets, and honestly, a small shop like ours could have never made a deal without the privilege of being classmates.
What are you doing here at this hour?
He seemed surprised as he approached me. I was taken aback to run into someone I knew here. At this time, just going through some stuff.
Are you okay? I might be able to help. Just say the word. I owe you one from college, after all, for all the times you helped me with my assignments.
Seeing Charlie's smile made me feel relieved. I thought I had no one left on my side. I burst into tears. I suppose people around us must have thought it strange. Charlie just quietly waited for me to stop crying. After calming down a bit, I began to tell Charlie everything in bits and pieces. About my mother breaking her leg and needing care. How, during that time, Alex cheated on me with Becky and told me he wanted a divorce, and how I left the house with all my belongings. Charlie listened silently to it all. After hearing everything, Charlie said,
I understand. First, we need to sort out where you're going to live and find you a job. Why don't you come with me?
Huh?
I've been thinking about opening a farm-to-table restaurant to let people taste our vegetables. Eventually, I want to expand our distribution nationwide. That's why I wanted to talk to you, Catherine. Not out of pity or because we're friends, but because I've seen how you work. Would you come and join me? I'll even provide a dormitory. What do you think?
I had no reason to refuse, so I agreed. From that point on, I was so busy I didn't have time to think about Alex and Becky. It was a godsend for me. I traveled across the country, working hard to open multiple locations outside our state. Before I knew it, 2 years had passed. I took some time off and went to Alex's hometown, where his shop used to be. I wanted retribution. Alex's shop was gone, replaced by a different business. Still, it felt nostalgic.
Hey, Catherine, is that you? What's going on?
Alex seemed so carefree, as if he had forgotten all that had happened, which threw me off a bit.
Since it's been so long, let's catch up at that cafe over there.
I was practically dragged into the cafe.
Listen to this. Things have been tough since then.
Since when?
Since after we broke up, I told Becky, let's keep quiet for a bit, but the next day she was greeting the neighbors.
She said, "Please regard me as Alex's wife from now on."
Because of that, people thought we were having an affair. Our regulars stopped coming, and though some customers from social media still visited, it wasn't enough for our sales. Becky made us switch from Charlie's organic vegetables to cheaper supermarket ones, and our reviews tanked. And then Charlie did something terrible. He opened a store selling organic vegetables, just like ours used to. Terrible, right? Just because we stopped doing business with him. We lost customers to him, and our shop had to close, leaving us with debt. I even asked my parents, but they said, the money we gave you for opening the shop was a gift while we were alive.
Don't expect any inheritance. You've embarrassed us with an affair. Don't come around us ever again.
That's what they told me, cold pup. So, I had no choice but to close the shop. We sold everything we could, paid off the debts, and moved in with Becky's parents. Her parents are in bad health, can't move much, and I can't find a job. Becky won't work at all. It's been really tough.
Alex blabbered on about himself without even letting me speak. Every word screamed, I'm not to blame, making me wonder, why did I marry this guy?
How have you been, Catherine?
Well, getting by.
An old senior of mine reached out, and I started a new venture. Becky was against it, and that's when I realized. Catherine always supported me. Hey, Catherine, shall we start over? What would you say to that?
Huh? I was speechless, without a clue on how to respond. Just as I was about to firmly reject the idea, Becky showed up.
Alex is mine. You might have been married to him once, but he's mine now. I can't believe you're trying to take him back through an affair after everything started with one. That's unbelievable.
No, that's not it.
Becky, why are you here?
Alex said he was starting a business for women, so I got worried and put a GPS on him. And now he's here with you. That's unacceptable. With you, Catherine, of all people.
Just as I thought Becky was starting to lash out at Alex, she turned to me.
The situation's different from back then. You know, I'm pregnant. Are you planning to take the father of my child too?
I didn't hear about this. Is it really mine?
Of course it is.
Catherine, this is some misunderstanding.
How can there be a misunderstanding when we've been together?
I've made up my mind. I want to start over with Catherine.
Catherine.
She approached me aggressively, breathing heavily. Let's just calm down. I have no lingering feelings for Alex, and the idea of getting back together is out of the question. I'm married.
What?
Huh?
The two of them looked at me, shocked.
Then why did you come to a cafe with Alex?
We had something to discuss.
What kind of discussion? You planning to start over? Or propose a double affair?
I had something to say to Alex, but to you as well, Becky.
What?
This. I handed them a demand for alimony.
What's this?
Alimony for that time? Now, after all this time?
Yeah. You can't just claim alimony 2 years later.
But you can. I had given up until now.
Claiming alimony now. Do you still have feelings for Alex? Married and all. That's creepy. I feel sorry for your husband.
Thinking who's talking. I couldn't help but laugh a bit.
What's so funny?
Becky threw water at me. Catherine, are you okay? I rushed over, but I didn't make it in time. Sorry. Things don't always go like in the dramas, huh? He handed me a handkerchief. Luckily, only a bit of water got on my shoulder.
Charlie, why are you here?
I called him.
Not only Alex, but you're making moves on Charlie too? You better stay away from this woman. She's a married lady.
That husband would be me, actually.
What?
I'm about to go abroad. With Charlie. I couldn't forgive myself for not doing anything 2 years ago. That's why I'm demanding the alimony now. From here on, let's go through the liars, okay? As I stood up to leave, Alex said,
You were having an affair with Charlie while married to me, right? I forgive you, so we'll call it even on the alimony, okay?
Alex clearly didn't want to pay. More accurately, it's not that he didn't want to. He couldn't afford to, given his financial situation. Stop making things up, please?
I started reaching out to him only after we divorced. Or do you want to take this to court? You need evidence for that.
Evidence. You don't have any evidence, right?
Do you really think I'd meet you just to claim alimony for no reason?
What do you mean?
I've been recording our conversation just now.
That can't be used as evidence.
Not with just this audio. I pulled out a photo from 2 years ago. The two of them were walking together, looking close.
What?
The local butcher's wife had sent me the photo. It was awkward. Never thought it'd come in handy like this. That's the situation. Oh, and about Charlie's store you mentioned earlier. I was the one running it. Honestly, I hoped your store would fail, but it seems like it was just a matter of time without me doing anything. With that, Charlie and I left the cafe. I've been in love with you since college, Catherine. I thought I had to give up when you got married, but I couldn't, and I've been carrying a torch for you all this time. Half a year ago, on that day, I realized I wanted to protect you with all I've got. That's what Charlie confessed to me about half a year after I started working for him. After everything that had happened, I initially refused, but Charlie kept expressing his feelings to me. When Charlie decided to go abroad because he wanted to expand overseas, he said,
I might not be able to return for a while. Will you marry me?
I had been refusing all along, but at that moment, I said yes. Then, after a while, we flew abroad, and I've been managing somehow, despite being bewildered by the differences from the US. I had sent a certified letter to Becky's parents' house, just in case. It seems her parents found it and scolded both of them, saying, "We can't believe it was an affair. How can we face our grandchild? You must pay the price." They ended up paying in installments. From what I've heard through the grapevine, Becky gave birth to the child safely. After the child was born, Becky, who had been so infatuated with Alex, started to prioritize the child. Then, Alex started lamenting that he had no place and began staying out under the pretext of work. Around the time Becky got fed up, Alex was arrested. He got caught for scamming people with a date scheme, an extension of a women's escort service. Despite her previous attachment to Alex, Becky quickly divorced him. Now, Becky is working day and night to support her parents and child. After his release, Alex apparently tried to visit Becky and the child but was firmly rejected. Meanwhile, I've given birth to a child and am living happily.